to open the regular session, and I would like Robbie Messer to come up forward. And he'll be leading us in the flag salute.
Ready, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, I need to report out on action taken in the closed session. So the first business of action in closed session, we appointed Acting Superintendent Randy Philpott to be the agency negotiator for property located at 1040 Merced Street and 4221 Main Street. It was motioned by Frank Rivas. It was seconded by Don Cabral, and it was a 4 aye, 0 nays, and 1 absent vote. The second piece of business that we had was discipline, dismissal, or release. The board voted 4 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent. Don Cabral made the motion, and Frank Rivas seconded it. And those are the report out votes to approve a resignation agreement with classified employee number 34470. I'll let everyone get seated. Oh, okay. All right. Fact-finding hearing conducted by administrative review in case number 2223/03, motion by board member Frank Rivas and seconded by board member Don Cabral. It is moved that the Board of Education find there is cause to expel student number 24134 from all schools in the district for violation of Ed Code EC. Do I have to read the Ed codes? Do I have to read the Ed codes? I'm acting president. Do I have to read the Ed codes? Yes? Okay, everything's under. Okay. EC 48915A2, possession of knife, explosive, or dangerous object. EC 48900A1, causing, attempting to cause physical injury to someone. Fact-finding hearing, and the vote was 4-0, 1 absent. Fact-finding hearing conducted by administrative review in case number 2223/05, motion by board member Don Cabral, seconded by board member Frank Rivas. It is moved that the Board of Education find there is cause to expel student number 20090 from all schools in the district for violation of Education Code EC 48915A1, causing serious physical injury to another person except in self-defense. The vote was 4-0-1. Fact-finding hearing conducted by administrative review in case number 2223/06. Motion by board member Frank Rivas and seconded by board member Don Cabral. It is moved that the Board of Education find there is cause to expel student number 19766 from all schools in the district for violation of Education Code EC 48915A1, causing serious physical injury to another person except in self-defense. The vote was 4-0-1. Fact-finding hearing conducted by administrative review in case number 2223/07, motion by board member Don Cabral and seconded by board member Tim Bazar. It is moved that the Board of Education find there is cause to expel student number 19765 from all schools in the district for violation of Education Code EC 48915A1, causing serious physical injury to another person except in defense, and the vote was 4-0-1. Fact-finding hearing conducted for administrative review in case number 22-23/08, motion by Board Member Tim Bazar, seconded by Board Member Frank Rivas. It is moved that the Board of Education find there is cause to expel student number 171247 from all schools in the district for violation of Education Code EC 48915A1, causing serious physical injury to another person except in self-defense. The vote was 4-0-1. Fact-finding hearing conducted by administrative review in case number 22-23/09, motion by Board Member Don Cabral and seconded by Board Member Frank Rivas. It is moved that the Board of Education find there is cause to expel student number 25567 from all schools in the district for violation of Education Code EC 48915A1, causing serious physical injury to another person except in self-defense. The vote was 4-0-1. It is moved, I gave you the vote first. It is moved that the Board of Education find there is cause to expel student 22795 from all schools. The EC code was for possession and sale of a firearm, a knife, or other dangerous object. Fact-finding hearing conducted by administrative review in case number 22-23/11, motion by Board Member Frank Rivas and seconded by Board Member Tim Bazar. It is moved that the Board of Education find there is cause to expel student number 21084 from all schools in the district for violation of Education Code EC 48900B, possession, sold, or otherwise furnished a firearm, knife, explosive, or other dangerous object, and the vote was 4-0-1. Okay. Public communication, agenda and non-agenda items. Any person wishing to comment on agenda and non-agenda items may do so. Please step to the podium and state your name. It would be appreciated if you would limit your comments to 3 minutes. California law prohibits a school board from taking action on any matter which is not on the posted agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the board. Per Board Policy BB 9323, individual speakers may be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board may limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. Does anyone wish to address the agenda? No? Okay. So I need an approval of the agenda. This is a roll call vote. So first, may I have a motion?
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Okay. And all in favor? Aye. Any nays? Abstentions? Okay. All right. Information and discussion items. Student board report. Julene.
Good evening. On Saturday, May 6th, the senior prom was held. It was a very successful event that generated memories for all attending. I attended prom setup each day last week and grew to learn the hard work and thought put into setting up for prom. Mrs. Stearns, Mr. Clark, and Mr. Lane are all the teachers behind it all. On to new things. This Friday, the seniors leave for the senior trip to Disneyland. There's a lot of anticipation and excitement for my class, not only for the senior trip, but all upcoming senior events as well. These events include the senior award ceremony and senior sunset. Graduation is rarely approaching, and it all feels very bittersweet.
Jolene, I want to speak for the board and say that you have been an absolutely wonderful student representative. We've really appreciated your reports. They've been detailed, and you've helped keep us informed and the public of what's going on. So, on behalf of the board, if the board members will join me up front here, I would like Jolene to come and join us. On behalf of the board, Jolene, we really appreciate everything you've done. We wish you well at the university, okay? No, she's going to shake hands with you. Okay. All right. Our student rep. Oh, okay, yes. I want to see what it is. Okay. She's going to open it and let us see what it is. After having to read all that while ago, that was a pleasure. I needed that. Okay, recognition of the service award, 40 years to Lynette Delgado, and I'm turning it over to Ryan Smith and Carolyn.
Good evening, board, members of the public. So back on April 24th, we had our second annual staff appreciation picnic. There at the picnic, we honored employees throughout our district, classified, certificated alike, that have served in our district over various intervals. We've done 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, and then we get into 25, where we went from lapel pins into writing pins, and then 30-year pins. And not surprisingly, the numbers start to diminish the further on you go. But then we had one anomaly, one that just didn't match up just quite right. This employee has been with the district for 40 years. 40 years. So, I mean, that's pretty amazing. And I wanted to make sure that we had the board all sit down before we asked them to come back up again. But just in a few moments, I'm going to have Carolyn Mendoza, our chief business official, share a few kind words about Lynette. And sure, Lynette, I promise you will not have to give a speech. We will not put you on the spot like I did in front of everyone at the picnic.
Well, the district is so fortunate to have had Lynette as an employee for 40 years. She began as an instructional aide at Von Renner, and in 2002 made the move on upstairs to the district office. At that time, we had 2,308 students and a general fund budget of just under $15 million. She is the most organized and efficient person I've ever worked with. Her system is the same year after year. I can always find things if we have to go back. We've never had an audit finding in the last 20 years due to payables. She's a steward of the district's funding, and I'm so grateful to her for helping build practices that have helped keep us out of the headlines. Fast forward to 22-23, where we have a $63 million budget, 3,200 students, and still one person paying all the invoices. In the last 20 years, we've built several major construction projects on top of just paying the day-to-day bills, including an entire school. We've seen programs expand and contract. We've had good years, good funding years. We've had lean funding years. And all through this, Lynette's been there paying the bills, keeping things moving forward, always the consummate professional. Congratulations on 40 years. I personally could not have done the last 20 without you.
And I just want to read this to you before you go up and shake hands with our board. It says, Lynette Delgado, 40 years of dedicated service to NCLUSD, presented today, May 8th, 2023. Congratulations, Lynette. Yes, to be clear, this is not a retirement. She's going back to work tomorrow morning, 7:30. I got a purchase order I got to get through. May brings with it a lot of evening events, a lot of recognition, and these next two recipients are no strangers to this as well. These are retirements, and we want to honor for years of service. Our first for 16 years of service to New Montrose Landing Unified School District, students, parents, educators, and community working together to make a difference is Renee Kimball. And next up, also an instructional aide, also 16 years of service, and also hired within a month of each other. This is kind of interesting. You must be sharing notes. Yeah, 2 weeks. 16 years of service for New Montrose Landing Unified School District students, parents, educators, community working together to make a difference is Miss Margaret Montgomery. Thank you.
And now we're going to hear from Kim Betancourt and Carolyn Schmidt on a LCAP. Oh, my goodness. Her maiden name. Carolyn Mendoza. I know her mom and dad really well. So, okay, LCAP update. Haven't heard that in a while, have you?
Good evening. We're going to give you a quick update as we kind of go into the final stages of putting our 2023-24 LCAP together. We've done a lot of meetings with our stakeholders, staff, classified, certificated, parent. We brought in some community members, student members at our last meeting. And based on all of that information, we've developed a list of some of the recommendations or items that we kept seeing come up over and over again in all of the information we've been gathering. So under goal 1, preparing students, all students for college and career, you can see the list there. A couple that are kind of new to the list are the instructional coaches and bilingual instructional aides. So that was a big need identified by our sites. Math intervention teachers and tutors at the secondary level, we're looking at that. A lot of professional development centered around student behavior and special education training, and along with student behavior, some social, emotional, and mental health supports. ELD teachers, program specialists oversee special education, so that's tied into our special education, so additional program specialists. Some training for our admin leadership team training, or just leadership training in general. And then music teacher and PE teacher, we're thinking those were geared towards the elementary. Edward, can you go to the next? Under goal 2, a lot of it was centered around attendance, college awareness, and drug education, substance abuse education. So we'll be looking at some of those items. The next step would be to take these items and actually put, we hand out those little stickers that have yard sale stickers, and we'll give everybody some money to spend, the same amount of money to spend. And then we come up with our top, usually 5 to 7 items that we would actually then look at the budget and add to our LCAP. So that meeting is May 18th, and we've included, I think Mrs. Fox has invited 2 of our board members to attend, and we will bring back our site the site groups that have met at the community meeting to provide input. And then as soon as that's done, we'll just start writing our LCAP. But these are areas, again, that have been identified by all of our stakeholders. Any questions on any of these items? Yes. It's a proposal, and I believe most of that, if I'm recalling from all of our meetings, came from the elementary, and that was prior to us having a second art teacher. So it would be like providing someone that comes in like our 2 art teachers are doing right now, and pulling the kids, and actually that's their specialty, teaching art. I think a lot of the teachers we got conflicting reports on that. Once elementary doesn't want their kids out of their classroom like 3 times a week, which if you do art, PE, and music, that's what would happen. So I got a lot of teachers saying, no, we're good with just PE and art. So I think it came up before they had the weekly art classes. So I think that's, and we're looking at music, adding music to YOLO also, which I think we've actually found someone for that. We have a music teacher. Same with PE. It was just more about a second day, and we already have that second day. So I think they'll be okay with that. We'll see when we get the little yard sale stickers. Yes.
I think it's important to add that these are increases and improvements over what's already in the LCAP. We haven't found anything that's come out of the LCAP yet. So basically we're getting a lot of feedback that we want to maintain the programs that we've started with the additional staff that we have, and then these are things above and beyond that. Because every year the state looks at our indicators, and then they look at how are we addressing those things and how are we increasing and improving services for students annually.
And just one last thing, a big part of goal 2 is we've already kind of addressed is hiring someone to focus, Mr. Gonzalez, to focus on improving attendance and social emotional supports. So that's already going to be an item that we include in our LCAP. And a lot of these things won't necessarily cost us money. It's just really focusing on programs and developing some systems that improve attendance across the district.
Okay, I'm going to take just a moment. I know it's really difficult to write standing up, so could you come up and fill in the chairs for the government students that are standing? Thank you. Okay, thank you, Kim. No additional questions or comments from the board? Okay, thank you. And then, now this time I'm going to say it right, Kim Betancourt and Carolyn Mendoza will be doing facility needs for support staff.
As we've developed new programs and we've received different money from the state to increase services, we've had a lot of new staff come on board to provide those services. Some are housed at sites, but some are, we need to find office space for them. And so we have outgrown the facilities that we have currently. So I wanted to go over, this is our building at 890 Main Street. This is the upstairs where it's laid out. We have quite a few people up there, but it's not the most efficient layout. We will be bringing in, you can see on the right-hand column, there's a program specialist. We only have one there. Next year, we'll have 3. We need some place for the other 2 to go. The program specialists work very closely with the data specialists. We need to have them housed together. Where the Beyond the Bell director and supervisor are way in the back, they're half a mile down there from the secretary, so that's not an efficient layout. On the right-hand side, you see our future plan for that building, and it has people grouped together. We have the bilingual clerk testers and the interpreters together in a good space for them to do their work. We have the data specialists together and the program specialists together, and then the elementary and secondary education coordinators upstairs in that building. Yeah, okay, there we go.
It worked.
So we are looking at a building downtown. You wanted this one, right? Okay. And we've looked at the layout of this building, and we feel it would work well for the purposes that we need. We could move child welfare and attendance down there. That is a new position. We do need the office that Mr. Gonzalez is currently in for the new principal for alternative ed. That position would also share a secretary with the director of facilities, and their secretaries would be in the lobby. The child welfare and attendance will be working closely with the parent liaisons who have their offices here at McConnell. That will open up 2 offices here to move food service back in. The Beyond the Bell supervisor and director will be there with their secretary. And then this child welfare and attendance will have an office with access to a conference room to meet with parents. And we find that this will meet our needs very well. I think that's it. And do you have any questions? This will help open up a couple of classrooms that are currently being used for offices. It'll open up, it'll just make things flow better as we move forward. And when we open the new building at Von Renner, we'll open up some additional classrooms as well. But we are finding a lot of support staff that does not have housing, and the state is not providing funding for support staff housing. So we've had to become very creative.
Okay, are there any comments or questions about this? Okay. All right, the consent calendar gets voted on as a single entity, and I need a motion.
I motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all right. And then I need a roll call vote, right? Okay. I'm looking to them. Okay, Don Cabral? Aye. Tim Bazar?
Aye.
Frank Rivas?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that's 4, 0, and 1. The action items, the first one is to accept the audited financial reports for the fiscal year 2021-2022 from Ide Bailey, or Edie Bailey. Okay.
I think
Yeah, we have to have, are we having a presentation?
No, everything is in your packet.
Okay, it is, okay. All right, I'm sorry, so Mr. Rivas, it was you, and then it was Mr. Bizarre. Okay,
My motion.
yeah, okay. And so, Mr. Rivas, your vote?
Aye.
Mr. Bizarre?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral?
Aye.
And Mrs. Hurst votes aye. Okay, the second one is the approval of authorized agents. Any discussion on that?
This is just to actually add my name to the account,
Okay,
in case I need to sign a check or a document, so.
okay, all right, so a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. All right, Mr. Cabral?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mr. Bizarre?
Aye.
And Mrs. Hurst votes aye, 401. Okay, number 3, accept the bid from Harris Builders, Inc. for Von Renner Elementary School multipurpose room and TK modernization. So may I have a motion?
Well, I
You
do have
to
a
discuss?
presentation
Oh, okay.
for that
Yeah,
while
okay.
Edward brings that up. I'd like to thank Matt Vargas and the architecture team for putting together the bid. They did the bid walk, they got all of the contractors pre-qualified, and it went very smoothly. We did have two firms bid on it. Our one bid was 8.3 million, the second bid was an even 10 million. It came in a little higher than what we were expecting, but that's kind of how things are going for construction these days. So we were looking at funding options. We issued last year about just under $15 million from Measure X through the bond anticipation notes. So the project cost for the pool and the tennis courts is just about 9.2 million, and that's with everything. That's with architect costs and everything. And we have about 1.3 million left to pay on that project. The Von Renner TK multipurpose room, the project cost is gonna be just a little over 9 million, and that includes all the soft costs as well. The 8.3 million that you saw was just for the general contractor bid. So we've paid already $642,000 in pre-planning costs. So we've got about 8.4 million left to go. So for our available funds, we only have about $5.5 million of Measure X funds remaining from this issuance. We will be able to issue more, but not until 2025, I believe. So we will have some developer fees. I have some money in Fund 35, which was from a previous matching funds from a previous project. So that gets us to just over $7 million. So we still need about $1.3 million to complete this project. So at unaudited actuals last year, we had higher than 10% fund balance, and the board passed a resolution to commit the excess funds. And so the resolution stated that the excess could be used for future construction projects, knowing that this was probably going to be the case. So the projected shortfall we would transfer it from the general fund into the building fund for the completion, and this would permanently reduce the ending fund balance by that dollar amount. So the good news is that the projects that we're doing are eligible for some state matching funds. We had the facility master plan done, and we had our analysis done of our modernization and our new construction eligibility. We've filed applications for both the tennis courts, which because the tennis courts were modernized, they were torn down and rebuilt, that actual counts for modernization. We're looking at about $800,000 coming back for that. The only hiccup is we don't know when. So I can't really count this in, cash that we'll have tomorrow. The Von Renner TK modernization will get us about $455,000. And we can apply those to future modernization projects. You have to use those for modernization. Those can't be used to build a new school, for example, or a new classroom building. So where I had shown we were gonna have about $850,000 of developer fees, we have the new Mattis Ranch project coming online. That's 106 homes right over here on Prince Road that's gonna be starting. And we've met with the developer, Mr. Philpott and I met with them last week. And they talked to us about a program that lets us get our developer fees in one lump sum up front. So that we've done a lot of research on it. We've talked to other districts to see sounds too good to be true. Where's the downfall? And in talking to a couple of different people, that there does not seem to be one. This is it. The BOLD program, the developer fees, the developer issues a bond. They set up a community facilities district, similar to a Melrose, just for the homes in that district. The board will have some resolutions to pass and some information that we would like to bring back in June to get the ball rolling, because they want to start construction in July. So they already have contacted me about pulling some permits and paying some fees up front that will back out later down the line. They assess a property tax assessed to the new homes just in that development, not all the way across Newman. But the good thing is it doesn't say Newman Crow's Landing tax on it, like if we had issued a GO bond or a refunding, it will say the name of the community facility district. So, and there is a max of what they can charge, what they can assess for this program. Once the board opts into this program, future developers can also participate without having to go back through the whole process again, which is good because right on the heels of the Mattis Ranch will be the Caton Ranch, and then eventually the Stir Road project. What that does for us is it allows us to get the full scope of the funding for the developer fees instead of bringing them in piecemeal, where if you figure about $7,000, $7,500 per home, and that just kind of trickling in, and you're not really able to do anything with it, we get a lump sum of $750,000. We can apply that to a project. So we will be bringing back some information and probably some resolutions at the June board meeting so that we can start to move forward with this for your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Mendoza. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Okay. All right, now I need a motion to accept the bid from Harris Builders, Inc. for Von Renner Elementary School multipurpose room in TK. So a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay. And second?
I can second.
Okay. Mr. Bazar, your vote?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral? Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
And I vote aye, 401. Okay, next we have approved resolution 22-23/19 to implement pre-qualifications of construction contractors under Public Contract Code 20111.6, utilizing the quality bidders questionnaire service. Do we have discussion on that or presentation? Mrs. Mendoza.
I don't have a presentation, but this is something that we have to do to be eligible for any kind of state matching funding. What this does is it takes the pre-qualification process for a contractor, and it's a vetting service. So the contractors will apply through this online platform, and the company goes and they rate them. They go through an interview process and they see how they've done on prior jobs. How many change orders do they have? What's their on-time finish rate? How would the former districts that they worked in rate them? So Mr. Vargas has been using this more than I have. I haven't had a whole lot of time to look at it, but he's been very happy with the process. And I think from an administrative standpoint, it's very efficient. He's only had one contractor that he said, no, we're not gonna accept you. But it really gives him a lot of information that we wouldn't necessarily normally have. the contractors still have to go on a designated bid walk if there is one for that project. But if they're not pre-qualified, then they're not eligible to bid on a project until they've been vetted.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, motion? And second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Rivas, your vote?
Aye.
Mr. Bazar?
Aye.
And Mr. Cabral?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Okay, number 5 is the declaration of need for fully qualified teachers for 2023-2024. Is there a presentation?
Not a
Mr.
presentation.
Smith.
Just a brief update. This is annually, we have to submit a declaration of need to the California Department of Education and to the California Commission for Teacher Credentialing. What it is it's a projection of the number of teachers that we'll need to hire that could be in an internship capacity rather than being fully credentialed. So that's when you hear a short-term staff permit or STIP or a provisional internship permit or PIP. It's those kinds of teachers we're hiring. And so it's a projection. It doesn't mean that that's exactly what we need. It's what we anticipate needing. We need 14 total, but that's with 5 multiple subject, 2 single subject, and 7 special education. Some of that is by way of the autism program coming back to us for Hunt Elementary School. So those are projections, but nevertheless, it's an estimate. And so we just need approval from the board this evening for that.
Could I get a motion? Okay. And second?
I'll second it.
And for the vote, Mr. Cabral
Aye.
and Mr. Bazar.
Aye.
And for Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
And for myself, aye.
Thank you.
4-0. Number 6 is to approve resolution number 22-23/20, authorization to implement reduction of classified management staff.
This is, the board's already issued the preliminary layoff notice to this classified management employee. Tonight's action with your vote would just carry that through to completion.
Motion
I'll motion.
and second.
I'll second.
Mr. Rivas, vote.
Aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
Mr. Bazar,
Aye.
and I vote aye.
Thank you.
Okay, the last one, number 7, is to approve Sodexo contract extension for 2023-2024. Mrs. Mendoza.
We would like to continue our partnership with Sodexo. We've had a great relationship with them for the last 17 years or so. Sandra Sanchez is in the audience from the company tonight, and we'd just like to approve the extension for 1 more year.
Motion?
I'll move. Go ahead.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, thank you. And for the vote, Mr. Bazar,
Aye.
Mr. Cabral,
Aye.
and Mr. Rivas.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Next on the agenda are future agenda items.
If I can segue also into my superintendent report, because actually one of the things I was going to share was that is I've been talking with Mr. Vargas, our director of facilities. We actually did a walkthrough of the pool and the tennis courts with Mr. Pruitt last week, and so I wish I had more news for you. But I'm going to ask Mr. Vargas to come back on the 12th. By then, we hope we'll have a lot of specifics for you in terms of kind of where we're at with things. But in a nutshell, one thing we're waiting for right now is some electrical switches that are supposed to be here on May 24th. That will allow us to basically fill the pool and turn some lights on. Then Mr. Vargas will be doing a chemical balance on the pool water. That takes some time to do, and he's going to have to go some training on that. Also, then there's a punch list sign-off on the entire site that we have to kind of wait for to make sure that the contractor fixes any deficiencies that we find. And Lastly, we need to figure out a joint use agreement with the city so that the public can actually use both facilities. So Mr. Vargas will be back on the 12th to kind of talk about that. So that's the future agenda. We have some normal ones that just kind of come up, but the most important thing coming up on the 5th and the 12th is the LCAP and the budget. That's the most important thing we do every year and stuff, and so we're looking forward to that. I do want to just say thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve a fine district and come back. I'm having a lot of fun because I missed a lot of people here and enjoyed the time that I spent before as superintendent. You have a great staff here. They work very hard to really serve all kids, and that's an important point. I also just want to mention that Mr. Pruitt just texted me to say that the tennis team won the playoffs today and are moving on to second round to Placerville. So there we go. Thank you.
So that was also your acting superintendent report, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, board members, Mr. Brazar.
Well, I don't have a lot to say. I'm looking forward to the graduation. I'm sure most of you who have seniors or are seniors or know seniors are looking forward to it too. It'll be a little bit different. Mr. Pruitt, congratulations to you. One of the board actions tonight was to approve his hiring as the HR director. So he'll be moving over to that position. So in a sense, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of corny to say, but I'll just say it's a graduation for you too. So anyway, I hope everybody who can will be there at the graduation. It's always a nice night. I suppose we could have a heat wave and we'll find ourselves sitting out there in 100 degrees, but even then it's fun. So looking forward to seeing you.
Mr. Rivas.
I don't have much, but for you seniors, have fun on Friday. Make a memory. It's your senior trip and graduations. These last couple weeks, enjoy it because it's the real world after this. So you guys will have fun. And also, if you guys want to have a good laugh, come watch the Olympics and watch me run and fall in the parent relay, okay? Well, I'm not going to fall, but I'm going to try my best not to.
Mr. Cabral.
The senior trip coming up, have a good time, and then also graduations, both at the high school and YOLO promotion. So you guys put a lot of work and time into getting to where you're at today. So hopefully you guys can continue to do that going forward. That's all I have.
And for myself, I would just say that May is really a month and a half, and our weather, I hope, kind of keeps it a little cooler for graduation and for promotion. And I wish all of you luck. And after you're finished with this year, before you go on to whatever the endeavors may take you to, just take some time to relax and enjoy yourself. And thank you for being patient with me as the acting president. Thank you.